energy, imagination, and heart to stage. Set to the stirring anthems, Dreamers, the official FIFA World Cup song. This performance celebrates ambition, unity, and the boundless vitality of youth. With pride and joy, we present to you our unstoppable dreamers.
Make it happen. Guess we believe it. Look What an electrifying performance that was! Let's give them a huge round of applause once again.
With this, we come to the end of the inaugural ceremony of this two-day conference. It is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, our deepest appreciation to our chief guest, Dr. Hemang Joshi, for gracing us with his presence and for his inspiring words that have motivated us all. We are equally grateful to our guest of honor, Mr. Arun Mahesh Babu, IAS, for taking out time to join us and sharing his valuable insights. Our heartfelt thanks to Ms. Tejal Amin, Chairperson, Navrachana Education Society, for her vision and dedication to sports. A sincere thank you to the Executive Committee of Navrachana Education Society for their unwavering support. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our principal, Ms. Suprabha Menon, for her leadership, inspiration, and constant motivation that keep us striving for excellence.
We also wish to thank our esteemed speakers, Dr. Anju Bobby George, Mr. Viren Rasquinha, Dr. Ali Irani, Dr. Rajani Patil, Dr. Kuhu Roy, Ms. Dina Patel, Dr. Ayan Merchant, Ms. Meeta Shah, Manush Shah, Mr. Sailesh Gusain, Dr. Hema Abirup, Dr. Megha Joshi, Tavleen Bandal, Mr. Ajay Kashyap, Mr. Ashish Patel, and Mr. Darpan Inani for their enlightening sessions and thought-provoking discussions. A special word of thanks to Mr. Kiran Mori, whose support and inputs were instrumental in getting the conference off the ground. We are also thankful to Mr. Pawan Rai, Deputy Director, Navrachana Sports Academy, for the support rendered. We have registrations from over 120 schools from the cities like Ahmedabad, Jamnagar, Vadodara, Surat. Our appreciation goes out to the principals of all participating schools and to the teachers and students whose active involvement and enthusiasm added immense energy and vibrance to the event. We would like to sincerely thank our sponsors for their generous support. Parent Teacher Association, Navrachana Sama, T2 Sports, KFI Shoes, Atlanta Electricals, Gandevikar Jewelers, Andromeda, Wellcare Multi-Speciality Hospital, Gujarat Infra Pipes Private Limited, Venus Hospital, Viva Publication, Adikira Hospitals, Vego Private Limited, American Steels Private Limited, Bankers Group of Hospitals, Gaj Travels, Selections, Deepak Garments, Ms. Nagma Firdaus, Disaster Management Specialist, Wanderlust Holidays, Anand Multi-Speciality Hospital, MathBuddy, Footprints Holidays. Your generous support has made Momentum 2025 possible and truly special.
Finally, to everyone behind the scenes, the organizing team, volunteers, and technical staff, your dedication and teamwork have ensured the smooth conduct of this program. Thank you and have a great day ahead. We now have a refreshing tea break. We shall see you after 30 minutes.
Welcome to Momentum, the first of its kind sports conference hosted by Navrachana Higher Secondary School Summer, a gathering where sports educators from across India come together to celebrate the power of sports.
All students are also requested to move to the dining hall for tea.
Sports helps me push my limits.
Sports teaches me to never give up.
What inspired you to take basketball seriously?
Watching our seniors compete for nationals really motivated me. Navrachana gave us the space and guidance to
Our
experiment.
coaches and our seniors are our inspiration and have encouraged us to play football.
His illuminating words on breaking barriers and inspiring future.
To be here in Vadodara, and so happy to see Navrachana school promoting sports in such a big way. Growing up, I actually came from a family where my family was a very sports-loving family, but no one really played competitive sport as such. Mom was a doctor, dad was an engineer. My two elder brothers, and if a lot of the parents will know over here, growing up in the 80s and 90s, parents were very strict with their kids. And you had to become a doctor, an engineer, to be regarded as successful. And my parents were very strict with my eldest brother, and he had no choice but to become an engineer. They were medium strict with my second brother. He was a very good football player, played at a very high level, and eventually he also became an engineer. And I was the third and lucky one, because by the time I came along, my parents were not bothered at all. And that's how I was allowed to play hockey. I was actually very lucky because I was part of a school. I come from a small suburb called Bandra in Mumbai. And Bandra, as well as my school, it was one of the old Jesuit schools called St. Stanislaus High School. And we had big playgrounds, and hockey and football were a big part of the culture of our school. So I was also lucky because my coach in my school team was a gentleman by the name of Marcellus Gomes. And Marcellus Gomes himself had played hockey for the Indian team at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. So when I was 10 years old, I was actually coached by someone who himself was an Olympian. And I think Marcellus Gomes taught me not only the important technical skills of hockey, but I think he taught me so many life lessons. He taught me about teamwork, he taught me about hard work, about resilience, about discipline, about never giving up. And I honestly believe if it was not for Marcellus Gomes, there was no chance I would have gone on to play for the Indian hockey team. And I'm always grateful to teachers, mentors, coaches who play a very influential part in the life of young children. And for me, a very big influence was that coach, Marcellus Gomes, who taught me so much in life when I was only 10 years old. I remember when I was a young teenager, I was watching the 1996 Atlanta Olympics on TV. And an Indian tennis player won an Olympic medal. Does anyone know? Remember who was the tennis player? Leander Pace. Leander won the Olympic medal for India in men's singles tennis, bronze medal. And I was a young teenager watching back at home. And for me, seeing Leander on the Olympic podium, the medal around his neck, Indian flag going up in the background, and a tear rolling down Leander's cheek, for me, that was my moment of inspiration. Hockey was my sport. Like Leander, I wanted to play for India. I wanted to captain the Indian hockey team, wanted to play at the Olympics, wanted to win an Olympic medal for India. I was very lucky. My first 3 dreams got fulfilled. But the final one of winning an Olympic medal myself as a player, that remained unfulfilled. I played at Athens 2004, and at that Athens Olympics, India was playing Australia in a very crucial league match. And India had to beat Australia to reach the Olympic semi-final. For Australia, a draw was enough. That time hockey was 2 halves of 35 minutes. Today hockey is now 4 quarters of 15 minutes. India was leading Australia 1-0. Australia equalized. At halftime it was 1-1. In the second half, Dhanraj Pillai, you all know Dhanraj Pillai, Dhanraj got a yellow card and he was suspended for 10 minutes. India was playing 10 versus 11 for 10 minutes. Now, it's hard playing against Australia 11 versus 11. It's bordering on the impossible keeping up with them for 10 minutes, one-man shot. In that 10-minute period, Australia scored 2 goals in the second half. They were leading 3-1. Dhanraj came back on the pitch. It was 11 versus 11. India made it 3-2. With 7 minutes left on the clock, India made it 3-all. In the last 10 minutes of the match, India had 5 penalty corners. But everything we hit and flicked at the Australian goal, their goalkeeper saved. He had a great night. With 4 minutes left on the clock, India hit the Australian goal post. The ball hit the goal post. It went across the goal line, but it didn't go in. With 52 seconds left on the clock, India had a free hit on top of the Australian D area, the scoring zone. Except our goalkeeper, all 10 of us went on top to try and score. And then in that last minute, what happened in a blur. Because in our urgency to try and score, one of us made a mistake. The Australians intercepted the ball in their D area, they counter-attacked us. And with 20 seconds left on the clock, Australia scored the winning goal that night. Australia won 4-3 that night. I remember the match finished around 10 p.m. Athens time. I was crying on the sidelines till around 12 midnight. Because for me, it was around 7-8 years of intense preparation, effort, sacrifice that went into going to the Olympics. I remember being very angry and frustrated, not because India lost, not because one of us made a mistake. I just remember being very angry and frustrated because I felt that the system did not gear us well enough to handle the pressure against the best teams in the world when it really mattered under pressure. And by the way, that Australian men's hockey team went on to win the gold medal in men's hockey at Athens 2004. And India and me only participated. And the reason I told you the story is just to tell you that actually at the highest level of sport, the margins between winning Olympic gold medal or just participating can sometimes be the width of a goalpost or 20 seconds left on the clock. Margins are very, very fine. And it actually sometimes boils down to the 1%ers. Can we get 1% better in coaching? Can we get 1% better in training facilities? 1% better in planning, in equipment, in physiotherapy, in nutrition, in recovery, in strength, in endurance. Because when your heart rate is at 200 beats a minute, which is where it goes towards in the 69th or 70th minute of a hockey match, when you have nothing left in the tank, that's the time you have to make decisions and execute under pressure. And that's why hockey players train so hard for many years to be able to execute under pressure when you get a split second to take a shot at the goal. And the time passed. I played for 3-4 years more for the Indian team. I retired at an early age. I went to ISB Hyderabad. I did my MBA. I had a conventional corporate job, campus placement. I was supposed to start work in Gurgaon. I was a very lucrative job. I was about to start that when I happened to meet 2 of India's sports legends, Geet Sethi and Prakash Padukone. Both of them need no introduction. They had started this not-for-profit foundation called OGQ, Olympic Gold Quest, with a very sharp mission to help Indian athletes win Olympic and Paralympic gold medals. And they were looking for a CEO.
Hello.
And I was, and they approached me. This was the year 2009. I retired from hockey in 2007. Now for me, Geet and Prakash were gods in the sporting world. I could not say no to them. But also I felt OGQ gave me the platform to help the next generation of athletes do something which I couldn't do, which is win an Olympic medal for the country. And that's how on 1st June 2009, I became the CEO of Olympic Gold Quest, where over the last 16 years, we have looked after the training and preparation of more than 600 of India's best young Olympic and Paralympic athletes. And very proud to say that in the last 4 Olympics, London 2012, Rio 2016, Tokyo 20, Paris 24, India has won 21 Olympic medals. The training of 13 of those 21 Olympic medal winners was looked after by OGQ. We started supporting para-athletes also in 2019, athletes with physical disabilities. So these are athletes who have upper limb amputations, some of them have lower limb amputations, some are on wheelchairs, some have visual impairment, some have intellectual impairment, some are short stature athletes. And life is really hard. And I want to tell you 2 stories, one from an Olympic athlete and one from an Olympic medal winner and one from a Paralympic medal winner. And how much resilience and courage it has and how much sacrifice it demands to win the Olympic or Paralympic medal. The first story is about, by the way, at the last Paris Paralympics, India won a record 29 medals. The training of 25 of those 29 medal winners was looked after by OGQ. I just want a quick show of hands in this room. Who has heard of the Olympic silver medal winning weightlifter from Tokyo 2020, Mirabai Chanu? Who has heard? A quick show of hands? Yeah? Good. At least 75% of people in the room have heard of Mirabai Chanu. Meera is a weightlifter in the women's 49 kg weight category. She is only 4 feet 11 inches tall. So if she stands beside me, she will only be up to here. In Meera's weight category, there are 2 kinds of lifts, snatch and clean and jerk. You get 3 lifts in each, and the Olympic medal is one on the cumulative. They take the best lift from your 3 lifts, and the cumulative of your 2 best lifts is your total weight. Now, in one lift called the clean and jerk, in Meera's weight category, women's 49 kg weight category, you have to lift about 115 kilos to challenge for an Olympic medal. So that 115 kilos, that's 2.5 times her body weight. In general, the average person like you and me would struggle to lift our own body weight above our head. And this is 2.5 times your body weight. It's unthinkable. I am 80 plus kilos. To give you context, I cannot lift that bar 2 centimeters off the ground. Because if we try to lift it more than that, I'll probably get a back injury for the rest of my life. And this is a 49 kg girl having to lift that. Now, Meera came from a background so poor, from a small village far away in Imphal in Manipur, that growing up, she barely had 2 square meals a day to eat. And this tough girl coming from the mountains in Manipur went on to become a weightlifter. Now, at the Rio 2016 Olympics, which was Mirabai Chanu's first Olympics, she actually failed in all her 3 lifts. So if you fail 3 lifts in any one of the lifts, you're sort of disqualified. You cannot continue into the competition. And Meera was not expected to win a medal in 2016, but she was definitely expected to come top 10 in the world. At that point of time, OGQ was not supporting anyone in weightlifting, and we were not supporting Mirabai Chanu also. We were very curious to find out what went wrong for Mirabai Chanu. So in December 2016, I actually made the journey to Patiala, which was Mirabai Chanu's training base. She was training in the national camp at the National Institute of Sport in Patiala. I had dinner with Mirabai Chanu and her coach, Vijay Sharma. That dinner meeting turned into a 4-hour meeting. And Mirabai Chanu was actually sobbing as she told me the story of what happened, that story of failure at the Rio Olympics. She said that at Rio, the mental pressure on her was so intense when she went on the weightlifting platform that mentally she totally blanked out. And weightlifting is a process. If you forget one element of the process, you cannot make a successful lift. And she equated it to someone preparing for a very public speech for 5 years And when you actually go on stage in front of 1 million people, you forget all your lines. And that's what happened to her. When she went on stage, she froze and she forgot the process. That meeting taught us that Mirabai Chanu was very talented, her coach was very talented, but the people and processes around her were just not good enough. The first thing we had to do was get a good sports psychologist for her to help Mirabai Chanu overcome that fear of failure. She felt that after Rio, every time she went on the weightlifting platform in competition, she was going to fail. So we had to break that cycle of failure that was plaguing her mind. We had to get a very good nutritionist for her, because for the next 4 years up to Tokyo 2020, which got pushed to 5 years, as you know, because of the pandemic, the Olympics got postponed by 1 year. We had to keep Mirabai Chanu's weight within 49 kilos and yet have the explosive strength to lift 115 kilos. We had to get one of the best physiotherapists in the country with her, because I am a hockey player, we look after boxers, wrestlers. I've seen a lot of injuries in my lifetime, but I've not seen the kind of injuries that happen to weightlifters, because of the sheer loads and volumes they lift every single day in training. In the last 3 months in the lead up to the Tokyo Olympics, and it was a very difficult period because, as you'll remember, that was the pandemic time. Gyms were closed, playgrounds were closed, and there were frequent breaks and gaps in training. And the biggest enemy of an elite athlete is actually too many breaks in training, because it just spoils your rhythm and the probability of injury multiplies big time. In those last 3 months in the lead up to the Tokyo Olympics, Mirabai Chanu had 4 major injuries. She had a back injury, she had a neck injury, she had a shoulder injury, and she had a thigh injury. And each time we thought, oh gosh, it's over. 5 years of effort gone down the drain. But they say that Olympic champions are made out of something else. And Mirabai Chanu was so brave, she kept fighting, pushing the pain barrier. And finally, 23rd July 2021, first day of competition of the Tokyo Olympics, Mirabai Chanu finally successfully lifted 115 kilos in clean and jerk, and she won the Olympic silver medal. I cried buckets of tears that day, because for us it was 5 years of effort. For Mira and her coach, it was 10 years of effort, going well before the Rio Olympics. And they actually had the weightlifting national championship 3 months after that, and the number of girls that participated tripled from the previous year's national championship, just because of one hero and role model like Mirabai Chanu. And you know, just similar case study in what a hero and role model does. We started supporting Sindhu and Saina in 2009. They were one of the first 10 athletes to be supported by OGQ. Back in 2009, Sindhu was only 13 years old. No one had even heard of Sindhu at that time. She was not in the national camp, not in the Indian team. That time, I remember asking Gopi. Gopi was a friend of mine. We played together for many years. He, of course, in badminton, me in hockey. Gopi said that in 2009, there were only 30 badminton courts in Hyderabad, 30 in Bangalore, anecdotally. Today, in 2025, anecdotally, there are 7,000 badminton courts in Bangalore, almost 5,000 in Hyderabad. 2 heroes and role models like Saina and Sindhu, what they can do to a sport. I want to move to para sport, and I think when you talk about bravery and courage and resilience, in general, life is so hard for para athletes, and for no one is life harder than a young para archer, Sheetal Devi. Has anyone heard of Sheetal Devi? Yeah? Sheetal is an armless para archer. Unlike most of the other para athletes that actually get their impairment or disability due to actually accidents in life, Sheetal was unfortunately born with her impairment. She was born armless. Now, everything in life that you and me take for granted, Sheetal cannot do. So she cannot pick up the glass or a cup of tea and drink it herself. She can't eat food on her own. She can't put her clothes on her own. She cannot go to the washroom on her own because she can't push or pull the door. So everything that we take for granted, Sheetal cannot do. And yet this young girl has learned to fire a bow and arrow with her foot. She holds the bow with her foot and she pulls the drawstring with her cheek and her neck. The target in women's compound archery is 50 meters away. So from here to that door over there, it must be around 30 meters. So 20 meters beyond that. So the tension in the drawstring is so much. I struggle to pull the drawstring and hold it steady. My hand literally shakes this way. Sheetal Devi fires 300 arrows a day on an average in training. We started supporting her when she was 15 years old. She hails from a small district in Katra in Jammu and Kashmir. And we started supporting her at 15. Last year, at the age of 17 at the Paris Paralympics, she went on to win the bronze medal in the mixed event category. And it was such an incredible moment. I remember at Paris, the entire stadium was giving Sheetal Devi a standing ovation for what she did. And, Sheetal is 18 now. Over the last 15 years, over my almost 10 years playing in the Indian team, in the last 15 years looking after the training of so many of the best young Indian athletes across sports, I've never come across someone like Sheetal Devi. In the last 3 years, I've actually never ever heard Sheetal complaining about anything in life, that life is so hard, and every day life is so difficult for her. And that girl will always smile through all the troubled times and just keep moving on. And I think Sheetal Devi has really taken a right to complain about anything in life. I just want to end by saying just one personal story. When I was 12 years old, I remember in Mumbai, where the AstroTurf ground, it's a place called the Mumbai Hockey Association Turf. I used to go for these annual summer camps to play. And I thought I was a very good hockey player. I thought I was talented. I thought I was skillful. Until one fine day, one very senior hockey coach over there, he caught me by the scruff of the neck and he told me, Viren, you're very skillful, you're very talented, but you'll never ever be able to play big hockey in your life. And I was very upset and I asked this coach, sir, why do you think I will never ever be able to play big hockey in your life, in my life? And he said, you're just too tiny, you're too weak, your endurance is so poor, your strength is so poor. Hockey on AstroTurf is not what it used to be on grass. If you're not strong, if you're not fit, if you're not fast, there's no chance of playing at the highest level. I had a breathing issue. I had, so my lung power was very weak and I was definitely not strong. I was not big. My endurance was very poor. And actually everything that he said was true. And I remember going home crying, being very upset about what this coach had said. But the very next day when I came back on the hockey pitch, from that day onwards, I started working harder than I ever thought was possible. I started working on my strength, on my fitness, on my endurance. I started going to the gym. I became bigger, faster, stronger. Every single day on the AstroTurf, I either learnt a new skill or I improved on my existing skills. And exactly 12 years later, at the age of 24, I captained the Indian hockey team for the first time ever. And I was very grateful to that coach who one day told me that I would never ever play big hockey in my life. Because I think maybe that one day, if he had not told me that, maybe I wouldn't have worked as hard as I was supposed to work to get where I was supposed to be in life. I just want to say that I think in life, many people will tell us that you can't do this and you can't do that. I just feel that if we put our heart, our soul, our minds, if we get the right people together, I think we can do anything in life. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you. It's lovely being over here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful address. We are open to questions from the delegates.
Good afternoon, Biren sir. We are lucky that a renowned hockey player with us. I read a lot about, not a hockey player, but I read a lot about the various sports. I am a hobby on that, and I am very much interested that Indian hockey team, last 2 Olympics, is doing tremendously well in the 3rd position in the bronze medalist. You have to give definitely the credit, the Srijesh and the companies, and of course, your Hockey India, under the supervision of Mr. Dilip Terke, are working tremendously well. And all the eastern centers, especially your Bhubaneswar, Rourkela, Ranchi, each and everywhere, international layout hockey stadiums are there. And sometimes whenever you watch hockey, we are seeing that it's a full house, and the many women athletes, many women hockey players also watching there to watch the match. Generally, as a Bengali, I have seen the Kolkata Johar Kirangan. There is a 1 lakh spectators at a time to watch Mohan Bagan versus East Bengal a derby match. There the same scenario is there in the Bhubaneswar, Rourkela and the Ranchi at the full house in the hockey. We have to give credit to your association is doing tremendously well, because those are all the positive thoughts I'm giving, no negative thoughts. Doing tremendously well because I'm like that type of person. And definitely one day India will be the medalist in the top podium, 1st and 2nd position in the coming Olympics. So thank you to your association and Dilip Tirke and Mr. Naveen Patnaik, whatever the infrastructure, each and everything they are developing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Gujarat, since you are sharing your experience, personal experience, I just want to ask you, you are from Bandra, Maharashtra. So how come you choose hockey instead of cricket at the age of 9?
Like I said, I said it at the beginning of my talk, my school, hockey and football, there was a big culture of hockey and football.
Only cricket was not there. I was wondering.
It was there, but not so much. Not so much. Yeah.
Right. Like your story, I heard the story. I'm a swimmer, okay, still I'm swimming. I'm a swimmer, so like you said that someone is saying no to you, you cannot play in the AstroTurf. And the same thing was told to Michael Phelps, the legendary, that his 4th grade teacher told him, you're good for nothing. And that's the break point. I would like to share my story. I have a plate and 9 screws in my hand, on my shoulder, and still I'm swimming. One of my friend, when I met with an accident, one of my friend told me, your swimming is over. It's 6 years over before the corona. And that struck me. And because of that, still I'm participating. Recently, I have joined in the Masters, World Masters Aquatics Championship, FINA in Singapore. And just, I want to share this also and your experience. It's enlightened very much, and you people are doing a great job. All the best. God bless you.
Wonderful, wonderful, man. Congratulations.
Viren sir. I was just going through your organization, OGQ. It says that India has identified 10 Olympics and Paralympics sports which have a very high chance of getting medals. And most of these sports are individual sports.
Yeah, they are only individual Olympic sports. There are, by the way, only 2 team sports that India qualifies for the Olympics. Yeah. One is my sport, hockey, yes, and the other doesn't need any support at all.
My question is this: according to you, where India lacks in qualifying Olympics in the team categories?
In the?
Team category, team events.
Like I said, there are only 2 in all other sports we are, I would say, far, far behind qualifying for world standards. I think what we have to do is first target Asian standards and aim to be at least top 3 in Asia. So if you look at basketball, volleyball, water polo, all such sports, I think there's still many miles. Football as well, we are far behind Asian standards as well. I think for me, to build world champion individual athletes or a team, there are 100 ingredients that go into the mix of building world champions. But the most important ingredient is the coach. And what we are lacking in the country is good quality technical coaches, not only at the Indian team level, but I would say even grassroots level at schools. And how our physical education teachers teach our kids. And we have to move with the times and learn and understand and upgrade our skills. We need to, first of all, a big problem for me is most schools in the country have maybe half an hour or 45-minute period dedicated to physical education. And that has to be the minimum time every single day, not once a week. And you know, it starts from there. It starts from your kid and my kid going to play at our individual level, at our community level, at our school level. Are we encouraging our kids to play? We can't then, if we don't do anything ourselves, we can't blame the Indian team for not succeeding. If we don't develop the culture ourselves, whether it is individual sport or team sport, we will go on cribbing ki 1 billion ka population, 1 bhi gold medal nahi aate. But we have to, I think, look inward and say, are we encouraging our kids? When they turn 15 and when they turn 17 and when they start losing, will you allow your kids to play? You should ask yourself that question. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
In the
Sorry.
school.
I'm wondering where the question was coming from.
Sir, it is regarding the two sports. I hope my question should not be taken in a negative way. We prospered in hockey. We had medals in Olympics in hockey. And later on, after the World Cup, the cricket World Cup, after we won in 80s. So what changed was, there was a change in the students, the children would like to go to cricket, and they have forgotten hockey. For I think so they are at present doing very well. The hockey India is doing very well, but there was a phase where 1980s to 2010, I think so, the hockey came down. What was the reason behind it? Is it the association bothered, or is it something else?
I think a big part was actually the movement to AstroTurf, because India and Pakistan, who were dominating till 1980, just to give you all a stat, in 2007 when I retired, India, the full of India had 30 AstroTurf grounds. If you look at the top 3 hockey playing nations in the world, so Australia, Germany, Holland, if you look at one city within each, so say Sydney in Australia, or Amsterdam in Holland, or Munich in Germany, each of these cities at that point of time had about 500 AstroTurf grounds. Full of India had 30. So all their young kids from 7, 8, 9 were all playing on AstroTurf. We were playing on grass grounds or chat grounds. And I've got a few hockey friends over here also who are keeping hockey alive in Baroda. And they will know how different it is from playing on grass and chat versus AstroTurf, and learning the right basics. So I think that was a major factor. And of course, every federation in the country has governance issues. I think there's so much to learn from BCCI on professionalizing the sport, monetizing a sport.
Yes, the talent hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could go on and on.
Mike, one more question to you is, we are heading towards 2036 Olympics. I have seen for the last 20 years of my sports career that there is an issue with the government bodies and the associations. They don't merge up together and they go for the sporting activities. That is the main reason I find the students are a little bit hesitant to go into the sporting arena in a very best way, and they give it their best. I think it's 100%.
I think at our level we should not really worry about what happens at federation levels. We should worry what we do as a school, as a community, and bring the culture of sport. That's why I'm very happy that Navrachana school is encouraging sport.
Yes, sir, that is what we are doing. Yes.
We can only do what's in our control. Let's not worry too much about whether federations are united or they're fighting with each other. That's part of our cultural pastime to fight with each other.
Exactly.
But at least at this level, let's try our best to do what we can.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your inputs.
Yeah. Hello, sir. So I'm Dr. Ravinder Singh, working as professor in surrounding Gujarat Sports University. So I have one question. As we compare like European countries, especially like USA, the Ginny Thompson and Michael Phelps, both have the club medal of around 40 medals. On the other side, India, like we have, after playing 100 years, we have 41 medals. When I go with the deep study, I just find out the reason behind, because all the big countries, all the good medal countries like China, USA, Britain, they have athlete development plan. So as a OGQ CEO, so what's your planning regarding to LTAD program? Because till date, we don't have a LTAD program for the athletes. So please, sir.
So, so you're saying LTAD program, that's a long-term development program for kids. First of all, I'm not the biggest fan of India comparing with US or China. In China, although they win many medals at the Olympics, but at what cost? If in China, if your kid or my kid is 3 or 4 years old and showing promise in badminton or table tennis or swimming or gymnastics, the government or the system will forcibly take away the kid and only do that 24/7. There will be no studies and nothing else. As parents, are we okay with that? I wouldn't be okay with that. I have a young daughter who's 11. I want her to study and play. So I'm not the biggest fan of comparing with China. I don't think the US is a fair comparison because in US, every single college in the US has better facilities than we have in our national camp. So there's a mismatch in a level playing field. I think India should actually compare ourselves with countries like Uzbekistan and Hungary. By the way, does anyone know how many medals did India win last year at the Paris Olympics? Does anyone know? Hands up. Any guess? Yes? 6? India won 6 medals. India won 7 at Tokyo, 6 at Paris. Hungary won 19 medals at the Paris Olympics. I googled the population of Hungary. You know, that population 10 million people. Has anyone been to Bombay over here? Hands up if anyone's been to Bombay. In Bombay, there's a railway station called Dadar railway station. At 9 a.m. on Monday morning, that will be the population of Dadar railway station. And I'm sure Hungary doesn't have better facilities than us. I'm sure Hungary doesn't have more money than us. I'm sure Hungary doesn't have smarter people than us. And yet Hungary is winning 19 medals at the Olympics. And one of the things that countries like Hungary, Uzbekistan won 13 medals. All 13 came from 5 combat sports. 90% of the medals won by Hungary came from 3 sports. Countries like Hungary and Uzbekistan, what they do really well is they focus and they go deep in sports that they are strengths. And so to answer your question, India's strengths are sports like badminton, boxing, shooting, archery, wrestling. In these sports, there are about 90 Olympic medals up for grabs. And you've got to go really deep in your focus sports. After these sports come sports like hockey, table tennis, athletics, where also we have chance of winning medals. And you know, once you win Olympic medals, it actually gives you more funding to go to the next sport and the next sport and the next sport. So I think we should first aim to come in the top 20 in the world. I think we are very capable. A stat that people don't know, although we won 6 at Paris, 23 Indian athletes came in the top 8 at the Olympics in Paris, which means we are very close to Olympic medals. We have to find the right strategy to bridge that gap between coming in the top 8 to actually 6 Indian athletes came 4th. So we just missed out on a medal 6 times at Paris. And if you look at the mixed archery, they lost out on the Olympic medal by 1 millimeter. If you look at Manu Bakar, she lost out on a 3rd medal by 1 millimeter. Lakshya Sen in badminton was leading in the men's singles semi-final. He was leading in the bronze medal match. He lost from that position. So we're very close in converting, and we're getting there. But I see that at this level, where we're having the conference, our focus should be on developing good culture, on encouraging kids to play, in ensuring that we have the right people, the right processes, and the right ecosystem to give kids a platform to play whichever sport they want in life. Because the fact of the matter is, there are some things in life that the classroom can never teach us, and sport can teach us all those things. Yeah. I got to run because I've got an engagement in Ahmedabad, so I will have to leave. So thank you very much for inviting me. It's been lovely to be here. Thank you.
Just a second, sir. Please remain on stage for a second. I request Suprabha ma'am to kindly present a token of our gratitude to Viren sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I now request the panelists, Mr. Ajay Kashyap, Ms. Dina Patel, Dr. Rajani Patil, and Dr. Kuhu Roy to kindly take their seats on the stage for the panel discussion. Specialist in spine and sports physiotherapy. We request Suprabha ma'am to welcome Dr. Rajani Patil. Thank you, Suprabha ma'am. Thank you, Rajani ma'am.
Our next panelist is Dr. Kuhu Roy. She is a distinguished clinical nutritionist and researcher. A gold medalist in foods and nutrition, she has dedicated her career to helping people achieve sustainable health goals through personalized nutrition. She is especially recognized for her pioneering work on non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. She runs India's first support group for patients with this condition. Her contributions span clinical practice, teaching, and research. She has published internationally, peer-reviewed for reputed journals, and co-authored a textbook chapter on nutrition and cancer that is used in universities worldwide. Dr. Kuhu Roy is also an alumnus of Navrachana School. I request Suprabha ma'am to welcome Ms. Kuhu. Thank you, Suprabha ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Kuhu.
We now move on to introduce our next panelist, Ms. Dina Patel, a marathon runner, fitness coach, and the force behind Run with Dina, a thriving running community. With over a decade of running experience, she has completed 55 half marathons, a full marathon, ultra and hill runs, earning podium finishes along the way. As a coach, she has trained more than 5,000 runners through the Vadodara Marathon, many of whom went on to successfully participate in major events. Ma'am has been honored as the Wonder Woman of Vadodara by Radio City and celebrated as the Woman of the Moment by Radio Mirchi. Beyond running, she is exploring strength training, weightlifting, and calisthenics. I request our principal to welcome Dina ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dina ma'am.
With immense joy, I introduce our esteemed panelist, Mr. Ajay Kashyap. An alumnus of Navrachana Sama, Mr. Ajay Kashyap currently serves as the Indian representative to the Commonwealth Youth Council, appointed by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. He has also held the distinguished position of convener for the Youth 20 India Secretariat, where he played a key role in fostering youth leadership and international collaboration.
Mr. Kashyap completed his bachelor's in law from Gujarat National Law University and earned his master's in public administration from the University College London. Since January 2024, he has been serving as the Indian national focal point for the Commonwealth, appointed by the Government of India. In addition to his national and international engagements, Mr. Kashyap is a board member at Navrachana University, contributing to academic excellence and youth empowerment. He has also authored a forthcoming book titled Sports Policy and Administration in India since 2014, which is slated for release later this year. I request Suprabha ma'am to welcome Mr. Ajay Kashyap. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Kashyap.
It's time to meet the moderator for the panel discussion, Mr. Binesh Nair, Head of the Department of Physical Education, Navrachana Higher Secondary School. Sir has been serving Navrachana with dedication for the past 17 years and is a first officer with NCC. I request Suprabha ma'am to welcome Binesh sir. Thank you, Suprabha ma'am. Thank you, sir. Over to Binesh sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rajvi. I once again welcome to all the expert panelists and also my warm welcome to the versatile teachers of education world. Clap for yourself, please. In the words of legendary footballer Pele, success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. This quote perfectly sets the tone for today's discussion on career paths in sports. Sports is not just about playing. It requires dedication, discipline, and a deep love for the game. Whether you aspire to be an athlete, coach, physiotherapist, sports manager, or wellness expert, turning your passion into a lifelong career demands perseverance, smart choices, and continuous learning. Today, our panelists will share their experiences and guide us on how to transform a love for sports into a sustainable profession. Let us begin by hearing from our panelists. I would like to ask all our panelists to tell us in one line what inspired you to choose your career in sports. Starting from Dr. Ma'am, please.
Can you hear me? As you know, I'm a spine and sports physiotherapist. I did my bachelor's in India and then I had moved to the US. I worked there, I studied there, I did all my PGs there, my DPT, everything I did in the US. And because I was there for 10 years, my goal, I always knew I was going to come back to India. My goal in the US was to learn as much as I could. So the 10 years that I learned and I practiced, I think working with sports there was really, really very fulfilling. I used to work with a lot of orthopedic surgeons. We used to do a lot of sports management, which was pre-surgery, prehab, post-rehab, after surgeries. Performance enhancement was a big thing for athletes there. And then, of course, it was part of my practice. I used to do sports as well as spine. Spine is also a very big focus passion of mine. But when I moved back to India, of course, then I had 2 children of mine, and then when I started practicing here, I saw a big gap actually in the physiotherapy world in general, but also the infrastructure, not in terms of infrastructure, but in terms of people support that athletes have, which is what got me interested to fill the void somewhere. So now in my practice, what I try to do is to work with various different professionals, sports psychologists, marathon coaches, nutritionists, because I feel that an athlete can only do their best when there is a support around him. Family is one, but all of these experts play a big role in that. So that was one of the things that I...
Thank you so much, ma'am. I will request the panelists to just share it in one line. Keep it short, it will be better. Thank you so much. Miss Dina Patel, yes.
Thank you so much. I would request you to give me just 2 extra lines because it is very, very nostalgic for me to be here. because my daughter studied here in this school from nursery to 12th, and meeting all the teachers who are still there, it was overwhelming, got tears in my eyes. And the only moment which I can remember, which is running in my head, is coming as a parent, visiting on the sports day and looking at the scorecard where Ruby was always winning and my daughter was in Ruby. Okay, what got me into sports, what got me into this profession is purely by passion and by curiosity. I can tell the rest of the story later, but since we
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dr. Kuhu Roy.
I am a clinical nutritionist, but a lot of clients that I get are actually into protein powders. So my job is to break the myths and bring out the facts, because you Google is a new doctor, new nutritionist, ask anything that you want, Google has an answer. So my job is to clear the myths and put them on the right track, so that is what got me into this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Mr. Ajay Kashyap.
Thank you, Binesh sir.
I will proudly introduce Ajay Kashyap as my NCC cadet.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. And the question that you posed was what inspired us to come to sports. And I'd say, as someone who's spent 12 years in these very corridors, my inspiration was, my inspiration is, and my inspiration always in the future will be Navrachana Sama and Navrachana Sama only. I mean, come to think of it, which school, let alone in Vadodara or Gujarat, but all over India can think of a national sports conference for school kids, right? And having someone who's an Arjuna awardee. So it is Navrachana that has brought this interest. So thank you so much to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Thank you for sharing that perspective. It is always fascinating to hear how passion becomes a profession. Ms. Dina Patel is one of the well-known faces of Vadodara Marathon, Apdu Vadodara Marathon. Ma'am, would you like to add a perspective on how early experiences shaped your career?
Okay, like I said, my profession of running and fitness coach, it started later in my life. So this wasn't something which I had planned. I was always in a corporate job, and on a sleepy afternoon, maybe I must have manifested to get rid of that 9 to 6 circle. And I was running for myself, and then I started giving tips to my friends, and it worked well for them. And eventually, step by step, I got into coaching people for running. By starting with one member, now I have more than 100 members. And Run with Dina is a community, and it has become my full-time profession.
Now that we have talked about inspiration, let us focus on discovering opportunities. My next question is once again to Dina Patel. At what age a child should start with long distance races?
Okay, so logically, a child should develop love for movement, to build the stamina. They should build the love for movement, build stamina and focus with right coach. And by 14 to 15, they can think of long distances under right coach and under right training.
Wonderful. That gives a clear picture when one could start with long distance races. Ma'am, please. Wonderful. That gives a clear picture when one could start with long distance races. Once again, Mr. Ajay Kashyap, my question is to, would you like to add how management opportunities complement athlete careers?
So could you repeat management?
How management opportunities complement athlete careers?
Thank you, sir, for the question. I think we're in this era today that a lot of, I know my batchmates who studied in Navrachana took up MBA in sports management. And I see them today working with various football clubs in Australia, in England. And I think that whenever I speak with them, they tell me how minutely and how in detail they go into the athletes' everyday aspects of life. And the plethora of opportunities that are there today, from physiotherapy to sports science to sports medicine to becoming manager of a team, I think these are things that are opening up in India. And I'm sure that by the time we have 2036, it would be a full-fledged ecosystem that we'll have for our athletes.
Great one. Remember, sports has many avenues beyond the playing field. Identifying opportunities is just the start. Skills are crucial for success. I would like to ask once again Mr. Ajay Kashyap, what key skills or experiences are essential in coaching, sports management or fitness entrepreneurship?
Sir, I think what I have learned about coaches and coaching would be courtesy coaches like you. Because one thing that Binesh sir would always tell me when I used to do long jump was, Subah 7 baje aana hai to aana hai. So the most important skill and discipline would be your commitment for any sports person. And I think Anju Bobby George madam also said that it is a long game, and it is that you have to turn up every single day if you want to see results in the long term. So I think that is the most important skill that we'd look at.
Excellent points. Skills along with practical experience are what truly make a difference. Dr. Rajani Patil, could you share your experience working with athletes?
Sure. So as a sports physio in the clinic that I run, Ortho Sports Physiotherapy in Mumbai, we see all kinds of sports. The athletes that we primarily treat are runners, cyclists, and of course a lot of junior athletes in various different sports that they are competing for state and nationals. So there are various sports that we do. However, for us, it's making sure there are two aspects that we focus on. One is we don't want an athlete to come to us when they are injured. We want to make sure that this athlete never gets injured. So in that, performance enhancement comes, fitness comes, strength training comes, a balance of speaking to their coaches, of understanding their life, and fitting all the criteria is important. So.
Great perspective. Both education and experience have their value, and sometimes one complements the other perfectly. My next question is to Dr. Kuhu Roy. Nice name, Kuhu Roy, ma'am.
Thank you.
Would you like to share any experience working with sports teams?
I have essentially not worked with sports teams, but I have worked with people who have been very enthusiastic about physical fitness as such. So the idea of physical fitness, what I see is sadly very limited to physical appearance, which needs to change a lot in my opinion. It has to also be about how does one feel from within, because I have seen that muscle dysmorphia, we call it that. You see that Instagram filled with people putting up those images, with their muscles. I don't know what does that lead to. The idea is until and unless you don't feel happy and confident that you're actually making a difference, you are feeling fit from within, it's not going to change. And a crunch of that comes from nutrition, essential nutrition, because we are flooded with information at this point. If you want to check something, information is very easily available. So that is what I'm repeating again. My role is to guide people, that you make the right choices, because everything has to be tailor-made. It cannot be like, one size fits all. It never works even for two people from the same family or two people pursuing the same sports. It's going to be very, very different. So getting down to the intricacies of the matter is what my expertise lies in, and that's where I come.
Thank you for your inputs, ma'am. My next question is to Ms. Dina Patel. Could you enlighten us by sharing any common injuries as in long distance runner and how it can be prevented?
Most of the athletes, they go through some of the other injuries. But there is a very popular myth that running se knee kharab ho jate, which is not true. So see, running is not just about running. Running is also about training, strength training, right nutrition, progressive loading, and rest, recovery, sleep, everything. So there are, split, and there are plantar fasciitis, there are glute injuries, there are injuries, but then one has to balance, and the training has to be with all these factors which I mentioned.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I would like to ask Dr. Rajani Patil, can you describe a situation wherein you had to develop a rehabilitation plan for an athlete recovering from an injury?
So, two come to mind. One was for a long distance runner. He was an ultra runner. And of course, this happens to us every year before Mumbai Marathon. All of you know Mumbai Marathon, like people come from everywhere to run the Mumbai Marathon. And the week before the Mumbai Marathon, there will be a flood of runners coming in with all these injuries, and they say, अब बस हमको ठीक कर दो, हमको भागना है बस, TMM भागना है. That's a challenging period for us, but we have successfully done that. But the rehab plan for that is, of course, it's very difficult to tell you. For each one, it's very different. For one of the runners, it was just balancing the one muscle that was weak. Just showed him strength exercises for that, and he was able to complete it. For the other one, we had to call him every single day up until the marathon. We had to tape him, do dry needling, do a lot of things so that we made sure that he ran on TMM day. So these two come to mind.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I would like to share, last week I got a very bad back spasm, and I consulted Dr. Rajni. I knew her since my previous injury, and we were constantly in touch. And this Sunday I have a run at Delhi, and now I'm okay to run. So that's where she helps me.
Please hold the mic, ma'am. How is sports science and technology changing career paths in sports?
Definitely, because sports, like when we talk about sports, parents and students, small kids, they think about a bat or Virat Kohli, So everyone doesn't need to be Virat Kohli or just cricket. It's not just about cricket. There are so many avenues. We have examples just on the stage, It's about nutrition, it's about physiotherapy, event management, sports psychology. So there are so many avenues that are opening up for sports, and so many opportunities as well.
Fascinating. Technology really opens up new ways to train, analyze, and excel. My next question is to Dr. Rajani Patil. Please, everyone, Saurav sir, do outdated running surfaces impact on running form?
Yeah, so today everyone's running on the road, right? So the quality of the road obviously matters. That's why the shoe technology has changed. All the shoes now are made to run on concrete, so you don't have to worry about that aspect. Of course, for different sports, it is different, the turf that they play on, the surface. But I think the runner that's on the road running, as long as their shoes are appropriate for them, it takes care of majority. Except for there are barefoot runners as well. So for barefoot runners, you have to be a little more careful with the surfaces that you run in. But even for that, there is a lot of technology now. There are skidders and a lot of different barefoot shoes, minimal shoes available.
So you mean to say if there is an outdated surface in the city, we should not conduct a tournament over there, or we should not have that athletic meet or something over there?
Definitely the surface matters. I think it's about being logical where you want to run. For runners, we tell them, of course, I don't know if there are beaches here, but in Mumbai we do have beaches. So running barefoot on a beach surface, sand works really well, on a track works really well rather than on the road. But yes, finding a good infrastructure is important.
Nicely said, ma'am. Mr. Ajay Kashyap, would you like to add how management uses technology for performance analytics? Management uses technology.
Thank you for the question, sir. And I think I'm very discomforted by the fact that you always call me Mr. Ajay Kashyap. I think I'm just used to Ajay and Binesh sir shouting from second floor ki wapas bunk kar raha hai. So thank you for the question, sir. I think I'll join this question with what you posed to Mrs. Patel about sports science. And I remember I was at NIS Patiala that Viren Rasquinha also spoke about. And at the Sports Science Center, which has been redeveloped at NIS Patiala since 2016, and I was with the Director General there, and he showed me an equipment on sports science, and the equipment was such that if you're an athlete training for javelin throw and you have some issues in your shoulder, the equipment, after proper testing, would calculate and give you an analysis that should you continue with the same kind of training, 2 years hence you will have some kind of an injury in your right shoulder. So those are the kind of techniques and those are the kind of equipments that the management is using today to ensure that athletes are well prepared for what is to come. And if the preparation is such that it needs to be changed for the benefit of the athlete, the management is very well prepared for that as well. An example that Viren Rasquinha also gave was about PV Sindhu. So PV Sindhu's silver medal in 2016. So just a year prior to that, she also had an injury. I requested the Sports Center of India for an equipment which was essentially under the sports science department. And believe you me, the government of India did everything in its power to get that equipment from Europe to ensure that PV Sindhu makes the most of it, and the result is for everyone to see that she became the first ever Indian woman to win a silver at the Olympics.
Good one, Ajay, good one. My next question is for Dr. Kuhu Roy. The cancer upcoming numbers are alarming. I lost my dear basketball friend, 2 years back due to cancer. What advice you would give to athletes in terms of intake of food? Is there any food which is to be totally avoided?
So first of all, I'm very sorry for your loss. I mean, I feel the emotions. Cancer is one thing that has started affecting in the most unexpected ways, in the most unexpected of ages. And regarding this episode that you mentioned, I think it was there in the news just last year, wherein a marathon runner from Mumbai was diagnosed with stage 4 in the perfect pinkest shade of health. So how does one assume that cancer is going to make an entry? So when we talk of cancer, there are two kinds of things we look at. One are the modifiable risk factors, the ones that you and I can change in our lifestyle. The second one are the non-modifiable. We can't do anything about it. If we have a family history, we have it in the genes. So the thing that you and I can probably change is to eat healthy. Make that one attempt. Make sure that we eat from all the food groups. We do not fall prey to the diet fads, and not especially avoid the ultra-processed foods. They have come into the market like anything, and because the convenience has become, food has become the next easy thing, we end up, ordering very frequently, which shouldn't be the case. Anything that's loaded with sugar, loaded with fat, loaded with preservatives is to be avoided. The more wholesome foods that you're going to eat, the more you're going to benefit. We can't say that, the idea is that we prevent cancer from coming. We can't say that by eating this food, no, you're never going to get cancer. No, that never happens. So the idea is to keep on eating healthy from all the food groups. Make sure to do good physical activity, just like Viren sir said in the morning, that, just 40 minutes in a day in a school schedule is not going to help with physical fitness. It has to be a part of every single day regime, just like the time we give to the studies has to go towards physical fitness as well. So I wholeheartedly agree on that. That's my take on it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Transition can be challenging but also rewarding. Ms. Dina Patel, do you have any tips for athletes considering a shift to coaching?
Being an athlete?
Being an athlete.
Being an athlete, they have benefit because they already have reached to the level of an athlete. They know discipline, they know hard work, consistency, and most importantly, they know how to fail better. So, every body and every person is unique. So what they can do is being empathetic and adaptable to the trainer's need, and their success is depend on the athlete's success. So it is important that the focus is, their focus is on the athlete that they are training.
Thank you, ma'am. How can aspiring sports professionals develop a strong personal brand and network?
So my brand, Run with Dina, it started with one student, and today we have more than 100 members, which itself has become a community. So that didn't come with a proper strategy or plan, but it came with a focus of growing up the community in the right direction, and also networking with right people, and of course there's a lot of social media, and one has to convey their right journey, not the one which is not true. So it is important that people know the right journey of every member, each and every member, and growing the community for a healthy and a fit society.
Great insights. Networking isn't just about contacts. It is about building meaningful relationships. Yes, Ajay. Would you like to add how networking can open management and entrepreneurship opportunities?
Thank you so much, sir. I think in today's day and age, it is often said that your network is your net worth. And I think as someone who comes from a very middle class background to the journey that I've made here, I think it is only because, one, of course, what Navrachana taught me, but also because of what I did beyond school, meeting people, getting inspired from them, going to events such as sports conferences. And of course, you need to put in the right amount of time with the right amount of people. When you have guides and mentors like Anju Bobby George or Viren Rasquinha, I think that is when you succeed. And the success that I'm talking about here is the success at the very highest level. I think that should be our inspiration. And that is what probably I would suggest to all young people who are watching, that go out there, meet the right people, and ensure that you take the best from them.
Yes, the forum is open from the delegates came here. Now, any questions from the audience, please?
A question to Mrs. Dina Patel. Of course, you have lots of concept, lot of knowledge. As an athlete, my question is, especially the long distance 3000 meter steeplechase, 3000 meter, 5000 meter, 10,000 meter, half marathon, 10 kilometer, 5 kilometer, and the full marathon 42 kilometer. The athlete, is it mandatory? Because we do lots of training, the athlete do lots of training, circuit training, foot, leg, interval training, lots of training they used to do. We want to go to the sand, we have to go for the hill running, everything. You also do these things. My question is it mandatory to do the weight training for the long distance runner? Number one. Number two, if it is yes or no, whatever it may be, what type of muscles should be developed by long distance runner athlete? I think the question is clear to you?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you for this question. So, weight training does help for the long distance runners. I can talk about long distance running. That's what I do. And, nowadays, bodybuilding and weightlifting, that was only a special kind of sports. But now, runners are also becoming hybrid. They are also going into calisthenics. They are also doing cross training, CrossFit training and running. Weightlifting definitely helps runners for their strength and developing muscles and their lean muscles. Definitely it's important.
Thank you, ma'am. My question to Rajani, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm Hitesh Upadhyay from New Era School. Being a sports teacher, coach, very common scenario is there. When we train our athletes at the intense level, they meet with an injuries. Like especially, I will talk to about basketball players. It's a very common injuries like ACL and ankle. So what is the basic or common procedure? Because athletes are very emotionally agitated to come back on the court. Okay, but that injury is not permitting. And when they come to the court with the immature progress development, so they get again injured. And then they need to stay for the longer time away from the court. So can you please suggest, because so many teachers are over here, students are also there, so they will be able to understand when the athlete will be able to back on the court. And I do have a question for Kuku ma'am also after this. Thank you, ma'am.
That's a great question, actually. So your question is many folds. One is, see, in any sports, whatever you do activity-wise, whether you go to the gym, you run, you play any sports, an injury is going to come because you're doing something active, right? Now the severity and level of injury you can control. How can you control that? One is on a fitness level, say you're doing football. Are all aspects of football being covered? Coaching is, okay, the technique of football, right? But the strength, the mobility, there are many other, agility, balance, all of that. So diet, sleep, all of those factors do matter, and for every child it can be different. There can be one child who is nutritionally very poor, which can lead to an injury. There can be another child who has insomnia, doesn't sleep very well, can be. So it may not be what you are doing, it is other factors that you need to understand. Now, for a child to come back to sports, this is my problem also, and I keep telling, I do a lot of workshops, preventive workshops, speaking to parents and coaches, कि कुछ हुआ है तो बताओ, कुछ करो, और जल्दी करो. Because the longer you wait on an injury, you are changing the biomechanical movement patterns, and because of that you are going to pick up another injury. तो उसका क्या करोगे? फिर तुम इसको treat करोगे. So go to a physio fast or meet an ortho. Do something proactive right then. At least put ice right away. And when the player comes back to the field, it depends on two things. One is how quickly you took action. The other is the mental counseling. Okay, because the psychology of an injury is that. So the injury gets stuck in the body and in the mind. अगर पेन नहीं भी होगा तो उसको लगेगा पेन है, because the mind is now attached to that injury. So it's twofold.
So very good question. I feel that, this is a very common thing and students are very vulnerable, adolescents. एक छोटी सी चीज़ होगी and they'll feel कि अब क्या करेंगे, entire this thing, the training schedule is gone. So when we talk of nutrition, there are few things to focus on. One, if it is a muscle injury. Am I audible now? Okay. So if it is a muscle injury, the focus has to be on eating a good quality protein diet.
When we talk about nutrition, there is a myth like to eat a food or to product. Okay, so like nowadays it's a trend to eat a product, not a food. So how we'll be able to prevent, how we'll be able to create awareness among the child? Because we know the product is going to be very harmful. But the same scenario, if you'll see in the abroad, normally the people are, opening the packet, even players also. So how we'll be able to work on that? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, regarding this thing, we don't have to focus on the product. When we talk about the diet, it is not only the quantity, it is also about the quality. So which is where that comes in. Are you eating complex carbohydrates like whole grains? Are you taking good quality protein? Are you taking egg? And if the athlete or the adolescent is relying on plant-based protein, so are they making the right choice? Because when you take the plant protein, you have to decide, you have to complement the protein for better quality. You club a cereal, you club a pulse, or you take a cereal with a milk product. So that enhances the quality of the protein that you're taking in the diet. Next is whether you're eating healthy fats or not. Healthy fats, multiple examples. It's not about being obsessed that, olive oil hai to usse liye ja rahe hain. The cookery shows these days are so misleading that they take the olive oil and they keep pouring it as if God knows it is still providing you 9 kilocalories, although it still has monounsaturated fats. That's fine. Calories utni hi aa rahi hain. The next part for recovery is that what kind of antioxidants are they taking in the diet? And by that, I do not mean supplements, I mean natural whole foods like, fruits and vegetables. The clear funda is that the more colorful you eat, the better nutrition you're getting in the diet. So it's like if your plate is depicting a rainbow, that means you're eating a wholesome meal. Half of the plate has to be vegetables, then you put good amount of protein, you put a good carb, and then you're good. Just like ma'am mentioned, that it has to be about psychology also. I think that is where she will come in, wherein you have to give that mental punch to the kid that no matter what, that this is a temporary phase, that no amount of setback, fine, you are going to eventually bounce back. That's what I feel. I hope that answers your question, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. Is a nutritionist. Okay. Actually, my question is, madam, is which type of diet you will be suggest for pre, during, and post competition for any athlete or player? Yeah.
That's covered in detail when I'll be talking in the afternoon, sir, but I'll convey it very briefly. So what we have to do is, pre-preparation, we have to ensure that we are taking complex carbohydrates. By that, I mean whole grains, anaj jitne hote hain. Whether you're taking that or not, why? Because at the end of the day, it is the glycogen, the storage form of carbohydrate, जो हमारी skeletal muscle and liver में होता है. That is ultimately used as a fuel during the performance. So what we do is, we begin with carbohydrate loading. So what carbohydrate loading means, as you are nearing the event, you are increasing the amount of carbs in your diet, the good carbs, and you're reducing your exercise time is actually going down. Usse kya hota hai? Your muscles are actually storing the glycogen that will give you a good supply of energy for the next 90 to 120 minutes to come. That is very important. And ultimately, it is about, so one thing is building reserves, what we are doing with complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, and protein. The next thing is about instant energy. As you have approached that near the event, good, you're having a banana energy during this thing. And for recovery, it is again back to wholesome grains, protein, and vitamins and minerals. I hope that answers, sir. We'll be talking more in length about this during the afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My question is to you only. My question related to fast food for athletes. Like during the training also, they want to eat pizzas or more fast food. I don't like, but they want to eat. If they want any match, they want pizza. Ma'am, pizza party we want. So what we should do? We should strict that, or sometimes they can eat it.
That's a very important question you asked. Now what happens when we are following a regime? Now, adolescents tend to fall prey to eating disorders. We usually know about anorexia, we know about bulimia. That one thing that we usually don't talk about is orthorexia nervosa, which is called obsession with healthy eating. So, it is perfectly fine to have a cheat day. This is what I'll be talking in the afternoon as well. Because the more you run away from something, it will come back to you with double the speed. Now, say for instance, if today I avoided having a small pizza, and if I avoid that for another 7 days to come, next weekend I'll be ordering a medium pizza. So that's going to be a very, very big disaster. So the idea is, it lies in portion control. Okay, if you want to have a pizza, make sure you invite 2 more of your friends and you share that pizza. So one, the urge to have the pizza is also done, okay, and you have shared it with the friends, so you have had a social gathering as well, and you don't carry the burden, oh my God, I consumed so many calories. Okay, so have the cheat day, make sure that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. One last question.
Good afternoon to the entire panel. First of all, it was a really insightful discussion, and I'm thankful for all of you being here and your points. And thank you to Navrachana for creating such a beautiful event. 3 of us are alumni, so we are extra happy about it. My question is open to the entire panel. Like a lot of you mentioned that things that are happening now in science and sports are really specific. So every diet, every physiotherapy session has to be catered to individual people. Right? And according to management also, you will have to cater different programs to each individual separately. How do we go about creating a general program for society? Because right now, it feels like I'm a first standard child, despite being an athlete for so many years. I've been given 10 textbooks, that is the internet, and I have to choose information from that and decide for myself if it is correct or not. Because everything has a cost. And most of the people around us would not be able to bear the cost, which is why we turn to free information, not knowing whether it is correct or not. Can you give us, for example, ma'am, you give a beautiful example of having multicolor foods. That is one simple way to go about it. Can you, in brief, for each of your professions, give me a progression that the general community can use as a rule of thumb to go about using that in their entire lives so that it is not too daunting to step into these ventures? Thank you.
Good question. So I think, there has to be, just like you mentioned that rainbow pattern, I always feel that there has to be a dashboard, let's call that a dashboard, that easily provides information. Now say for instance, if I want to know about nutrition, now the nutrition guideline is going to be very different, say for a hockey player or for a badminton player. So that information there are certain general rule of thumb that can be applied for the entire, say, a target population. So probably we can have an innovative kind of a dashboard for that. It can be more like a brainstorming. I'm pretty sure Ajay has got something to add.
Thank you for the question. I think I'll be happy to tell you that you must have heard of the NCOEs, the National Centers of Excellence, where India's top athletes train. And I remember I was at NCOE Bangalore, where the hockey team trains. And you'd be very happy to know that there is, in fact, a general diet chart that they all have for all athletes. And it is only above and beyond once you reach the level of international player that it gets, detailed further. But as far as a general plan is concerned, it is already in place. And the good part is, what the government is doing is that it caters to people from different regions differently. Because the understanding is that an athlete from Haryana would have different nutritional needs than an athlete from, say, Gujarat or Tamil Nadu for that matter. So considering those realities of our genetics is how they've made this chart. And I'd be happy to share that because I have it. Because I remember the head chef there made banana cake for me. So I'd be happy to share the diet chart with you. Thank you.
So just to quickly answer that question, what you said is correct. So I can only speak from an injury perspective because I'm a sports physio. So treatment for every single patient is going to be different, right? So what you're saying is, are there general rules that apply? When you have an injury, what can you do? Don't do the wrong things. Because most people, when they have an injury, they start applying a hot pack rather than an ice pack. That's the wrong thing to do. So those things do exist, but awareness is not there. So basic rules, thumb rules are first 24 to 48 hours, you always use an ice pack for whatever injury, whatever pain you have. An injury is a big term, but it can just mean pain anywhere. After the 48 hours or so, if the pain has not subsided, and in this phase, if you've done enough rest, and I'm not a believer in bed rest, I think you want to do some amount of rest, but if you do too much rest, it's actually going to be a problem. So you want to start movement sooner than later, along with an ice pack, and see what your body can handle. But after 1 week, if you feel your pain has not subsided with whatever these management strategies that you're using, then it's best that you reach out to an expert instead of ChatGPT.
We'd like to end this beautiful session with one of the quote of Swami Vivekananda. You will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Gita. Let us give a big round of applause to the panelists and everyone who shared their thoughts today. Thank you.
Thank you all the panelists for this informative session. We will now take a lunch break. Please enjoy your meal and be back after 45 minutes. Thank you.